organizing for success. Organizing for success. We would study about what are the types of structure of the organization. Okay, there are certain models also given about organizational structures. Then we have other topics to deal with. What are the different types of structures? The type of structure is dependent on the size of the organization. See, the size of the organization is small size organizations. It can be managed by the owner or a manager can manage that because the size is small. When the size is small, the organization structure is called as entrepreneurial structure. Structure is built around the owner or the manager. They can manage because not much activities there, not many people would be there in the organization. So it's easy to manage by the owner or the manager of the organization. So it's called as organizational structure. Next one, if the size increases, we see that here the size from small size organization to it is increasing. So once the size increases, it becomes a little difficult to manage. Then what is done? The activities which are of similar nature are grouped together and we call them as functions. So the size is increasing, the level of activity increases. It may not be possible for the owner or the manager to manage everything. So therefore the activities are grouped together, calling it as functional. Groups together employees that undertake similar tasks. Okay, then it becomes easy to overlook and look over them and then manage that. Okay, if the size further increases, then it becomes a little difficult. The strategic level cannot manage all of them. Then in that case, if they go in for divisionalization, the organization will be divided into different departments or divisions. And each of these department or division, there would be someone appointed called as a manager. Manager will be appointed. The authority will be delegated to the manager. Manager is given the authority to take decisions, and of course accountability also comes into picture, but such an organization structure is called as divisionalization. Okay, see here, until the functional organization, it is the strategic level or the management, the top management or the owner. If it is entrepreneurial style, it is the owner only who will look into the activities. But if it is functional also, we see that the top management only will be looking into the activities of the organization. But once the size further increases, it will be divided into multiple departments and divisions. Once it is divided into departments and divisions, managers are appointed. So the decision making authority will be passed on or delegated to the lower levels, the levels at the divisional levels where the managers are given the authority, and they also will be taken decisions for that. Accountability also comes into picture about that. Advantages, disadvantages, we should be looking into what are the advantages of functional structures, what are the advantages of divisional structures. See, easy to manage because only the top management will be looking into that. It may look like authoritative, but it is easy to have a control over the organization. What they decide will be implemented by the people in the organization. Can have a proper check and control, but there would be disadvantage also. The employees feel um, um, demotivated because they are not given a chance in participating in any of the areas. they feel demotivated that their feedback was never collected. The top management is only deciding everything. Um, so they may feel little demotivated. That's one disadvantage what we can see. Advantage wise, easy to control because what they decide has to be implemented, and they can have a better control over that. So that's a functional structure. um, Divisional structure advantage is that, see, the decisions can be taken at the department level. The purview of decision making is not vast or wide. It is defined to a particular area, particular region, particular department, or particular activity in the organization. Easy to manage. They need not look at other aspects of it. Okay, but of course there is accountability brought into the picture, but then there we can also see that because people at the lower levels are involved, the feedback which is collected, they may not have that strategic view of the organization. Maybe they do not uh, function in accordance of what is the organizational objective. So there may be a way in which they may not be implementing the organizational objectives, because they may only be focused on their department. That is always there. um, Sometimes they may fail to cooperate with other departments because their department and their department's performance is the primary criteria for them. So such issues also may arise, okay, in case of divisional structure. But decision making becomes very easy because the purview under which the decision making part of it comes, see, they can it is limited to only one particular area, one particular department. Therefore easy to take decisions. So the information related to that, if it is available, that is sufficient. They need not be bothered about other aspects of it. Okay, that's a divisional structure. Let's say if the size further increases, if the size further increases, even after it is made into departments or divisions, or departments or divisions could be based on either product based or geographical area wise, north, west, south, east, something like that, or country one, country two, so on. That way divisions can be done, or the products that are produced, it can be done. If the size further increases, it means to say that they are present in multiple locations with multiple products. So it is too complex to manage that. So it becomes a complex structure. So a combination of functional and divisional structures. See, a matrix would happen something like, let's say if these are areas, 4 areas, or something like that. We would see that area wise the division would be there. Also along with that, we see that the products also different products. So product one in area one. Okay, so what is it? So likewise it would be divided. Okay, it would be a combination of functional, where they are grouped together based on similar tasks. They are also divided based on criteria like products and services. It is a complex structure. I mean, multiple things are there which are very difficult to manage by the top management. So then they are divided based on geographical, product wise, or they are also divided based on the functions that are carried on. They are all grouped together. See, in each area, if there is in the north division, so north division, the performance of product one, performance of product two, three, so on. So likewise, it will be grouped together. So that is a complex structure. So there are 4 different types of structures. Structure is always dependent on what is the size. If the size is very small, it's called as entrepreneurial structure. If it is little bigger than that, then it will be the activity, people performing different a specific type of activity or involved with a specific type of work or activity are grouped together, and we call that to be as a functional structure. If the size further increases, it's called as divisionalization or division structure, because they are divided into departments or divisions. Okay, then if it even more further increases, it becomes a complex structure to be managed, so it's called as a matrix structure. So they would be divided based on areas, product wise, the functions, etc. So it's a combination of both functional and the divisional structure. In context of this, just a second, there is the organization structure is explained by Mintzberg. Okay, um, he has explained it as Mintzberg's model. I want to put an image here on the screen. Okay, the organization structure that is explained by Mintzberg. So the next topic is about Mintzberg's building blocks model. Here, these are the building blocks. I want to put this image so that it becomes easy for you to register about what is Mintzberg's building blocks building blocks model. See, he explains that there are these are the building blocks. See, the first concept here, we see that it is the ideology which is there. Okay. Ultimately, the ideology of the organization has to be achieved. What is the mission of the organization will be achieved. Ideology to achieve that, we see that we know that there are three different levels of management: the strategic level, the middle level, and the operational level. So the second one is about the strategic apex. The ideology has to be achieved, but the planning which involves the entire organization is taken up at the strategic level. That's the strategic apex. The strategic apex is involved with what the organization would be doing, what would be taken up by the organization in terms of the products and services that they would be producing, etc. So that will be at the strategic apex. We see that. One second. See, after the ideology, it is the strategic apex. Okay. They decide about what the organization would be doing, the products and services which they produce. See, the planning that is required, which involves the entire organization, is taken up at the strategic apex. Then we see the middle level. Middle level is involved in planning and allocating the work to departments and divisions and individuals, and then utilization of resources. So that's the middle line, but the middle line is also supported with the support staff, the support activities that are required, and the techno structure. So the support staff will be in terms of activities like recruiting the employees, in terms of acquiring the material, etc. And having other facilities provided, infrastructure provided, that would be provided as a support to the middle line, where middle line is involved in detailed planning about how the work should be allocated. That is taken up by the middle line, and also they would have this support of the techno structure, the technology, the technological development, upgradation, adoption of technology, etc. All of that would be helping the middle line. So the two are the pillars which are there at the middle line to help the middle line to take up the planning is support staff and techno structure. And operating core is the um, level at which the plans are implemented. So they are involved in implementation, operating core. So that is about implementing the plans which are prepared at the strategic apex and the middle line. So if it is a strategic apex, we see that because the owners are managing that, the top management is managing. So the organization structure would be a simple structure. The techno structure, if we see that there is a techno structure, so now I mean, means, but of course, in our syllabus, it's not, but it is about what kind of a structure can be present if it is techno structure. Techno structure, it is machine bureaucracy, heavily unionized organization, techno structure. Then we see that operating core, at the operational level, it is more about services business, professional bureaucracy. If it is the middle line, divisionalization, because allotment of work to different departments. Operating core, and we see the support staff, it is about innovative ad hocracy, advertising agents. That would be the type of the organization structure. And Mintzberg has explained the organization structure in the form of an image, or it is laying the building blocks one over the other to be seen in the form of a pyramid shape structure. So ultimately, all of them would be achieving the ideology of the ultimately achieving the organizational ideology, the objective of the organization. Mintzberg's building blocks model. The next topic, multinational and global structures. The multinational organizations where their presence is seen in multiple nations, multiple countries. So multinational and global structures. So local independence and responsiveness. And the variable on the vertical axis is about global coordination. If the global coordination required is low or high, local independence and responsiveness is low or it is high. Okay, low and high. Local independence and responsiveness, global coordination. There is no need for global coordination. There is the local independence and responsiveness is also on the lower side. Then the structure is called as international divisions. If the coordination required is high, but the local independence is on the lower side, okay, we see that this is global products companies. If we see that the local independence and responsiveness is high, okay, and global coordination is on the lower side, they are called as global subsidiaries. If both of them are high, that is coordination that is required, and local independence and responsiveness is also high, multinational corporations. See, multinational corporations are those which are present in multiple nations, and then they can carry on with the business activities by themselves. So there is a lot of independence there. Um, by coordinating with each other, if they can manage their activities, so then they would be called as multinational corporations. So um, 1 second. Okay, so the organizational structure, global structures in multinational, if they are present in multiple nations, if they do not require a lot of coordination, global coordination, the local independence and responsiveness is also low. It is called as an international division. So there is one international division. Um, so maybe they can start off with they may not be present in multiple nations like a multinational corporation, but having one division called as an international division, and they can manage the business across different countries. So that is an international division which is looking into the activities in different places. Okay. um, um, I mean, at a time, maybe straight away they need not be present in multiple nations. So initially, they would start off with having an international division. Um, the activities will be carried out through that international division. Okay, so the coordination, we see that the coordination is on the um, lower side. The local independence is also on the lower side. So it is an international division. Then we see that if the local independence is high and the global coordination is also not required, it's a subsidiary, global subsidiary. So they can carry on with their activities. Okay, it is a small unit of the main organization present in another location. So it would be called as a global subsidiary. No, first we'll look into so a global structure subsidiary can um, See, there need not be one international division, but they can exist by themselves in another area, in other region. See, they may not require too much of an integration, too, too much of coordination, low on the coordination. Okay, so it would be called as a global subsidiary. What is a global product company? Global product company. Um, see the small unit or the international division now there's only one under international division, there's only one division managing that. But this one division, which was earlier there as one division managing the efforts, will now be split into multiple divisions, and wherever the area they are placed. So in each of these areas there would be one international division to look into that. So that division will be focusing on what are the products. So that such companies are called as global product companies. The international division will be only one division looking at the activities carried on in different countries or different nations. Through international division, the activities will be carried on. But global product companies, um, see, because now they would be split into multiple divisions and will be started in different areas. Therefore, the uh, coordination will increase. So they are called as global product companies. See, if the subsidiaries, if they can manage all by themselves and they are present in different locations, then in that case it's called as a global subsidiary. But if the organization has its own unit in different countries present, then that will be called as a multinational corporations. What are the organizational boundaries? Typical boundaries found in organizations are vertical, this is vertical, this is horizontal. So what does it mean by vertical, vertical boundaries and horizontal boundaries? So there was a time when it was considered that Friday the attendance would be very less. What was the reason was, at that point of time, see, when we were students long back, so generally the attendance was relatively very less because there would be a release on Friday. So Friday release would make the class strength to fall or decrease. Today is again Friday and the strength is very low. The beginning of the class only I thought I'll raise that. I thought students will join, but more than around about 20 students are not there in today's class right at this point of time also. So when we talk about vertical boundaries, um, there are because vertical is about this way, there would be many levels of authority which would be there. Okay. Um, so then if there are many levels of authority at each level of authority, maybe I'll put an image there. You can also see that. Okay. See, when there are many levels of authority, each one of them, the span of control will be limited. This will result in, because they have to cross many levels of authority. Okay. Then there is a possibility of, that bureaucracy, okay, red tapeism, all these issues will arise when we see that it is vertical boundaries. So, before a decision is taken, because these levels of authorities have to be crossed, and there are many in a vertical organization, we see that vertical boundary, we see that there are different levels, multiple levels. Okay, multiple levels. Before a decision is taken, things have to be passed through all these levels, and finally the decision would be taken. Okay. The main issue with that would be about bureaucracy. The decisions get delayed, um, and uh, uh, authority at one level, his span of control is limited. But if it is a horizontal boundary, then we see that the structure is not very tall, but it is little flat. Then the span of control is quite wide. Individually, each one of them will be looking at multiple. The span of control on multiple responsibilities would be there under each level of management. So that is what we can be seen under horizontal boundaries. Okay, here again we see that there would be delay because the authority will be the authority would be looking into multiple activities, and a delay is possibility. So bureaucracy also can be seen in case of this thing, because a level manager, instead of looking at only one area, will be focusing on multiple areas, because the span of control or multiple activities will be coming under his purview in terms of taking the decision. Therefore here because the manager has to look into multiple aspects, there is a possibility of a delay in terms of decision making. Okay. External boundaries, the last one, the external boundaries. Um, when they also bring into, see, when they also have or connected with the external entities. See, apart from looking into the organization within the internal organizational boundaries in terms of vertical, horizontal, apart from that, when they are also connected with the external stakeholders, maybe they also have to look into maintaining good relationship with their customers, with the suppliers, etc. So that is external boundaries, bringing that into picture as well, along with looking at the activities or responsibilities within the organization. So that would be called as external boundaries. Okay. Vertical, when there are multiple levels which are present there, which have to be looked into, and before a decision is taken, so the the approach of reaching out to different levels of management and finally arriving at the decision. That's vertical boundaries. Horizontal boundaries, so the span of control is wide. Therefore, in that wide span of control, many activities can be included. Um, then again, also we can see that the concentration is has to be given to multiple aspects. Then also the decision taking making can be delayed. The external boundaries, along with looking at what is the responsibility within the organization, also have to be connected with the external entities. That's about external boundaries. Okay. What are the type of structure in boundaryless organizations? Boundaryless, boundary, we see, when we are talking about boundaries, we're talking about the span of control, the areas where decisions are taken. What is their concentration? What would be they be looking into? Is it narrow? Is it wide? So that is what we are talking about. But when we are talking about boundaryless organizations, so they are not taking decisions within the organization, but it becomes open. Okay. So allowing others to also be involved in their, so there is no boundary as such, there is no span of control as such. So when that becomes boundaryless, it means to say that when they allow others to be a part of their organization, in terms of taking up the activities, the work to be done, if they allow others to be part of the organization, that will be called as boundaryless organization. The first one is hollow structure. So when would they not have everything going on within the organization is when things are shared with others. That is about outsourcing. So when the main activities, the hollow structure, when the main activities are all uh, outsourced, then it becomes a hollow structure. Okay, when some of the parts are outsourced, some of the activities are outsourced, then it is called as a modular structure. Then the last one is about virtual structure. As such, there is no physical location at which the organization is present. It is present all by way of network of organizations when they are all connected, um, as a collaboration, as multiple units present in different. I mean, physical places are not there, but they are connected. They are connected with each other as a network. So such an organization, maybe there is no physical location at which the main activity is carried on, but the activities are carried on as part of collaboration with other organizations. It's a network of different collaborations. So then that is called as a virtual structure. So boundaryless organizations, there are three different types of boundaryless organizations. Hollow structure, the core activities, the main activity, the main work, if it is outsourced, it is hollow structure. Modular structure is where the see some parts of the organization, some activities of the organization, when they are outsourced, it's called as modular structure. Virtual structure, as such, there is no at no no unit which is present at a particular location, but then they are all connected in collaboration with the multiple organizations. A network of organizations is called as a virtual structure. Strategic choices for boundaryless organizations, they can outsource the entire activity. A core activity can be outsourced, or some part of the products can be outsourced. It's outsourcing. Okay, both um, uh, assigning both of them, that is the core activities can be completely outsourced in a hollow structure, or a modular structure wherein some parts of the production, sometimes when the products are assembled as the products are made as an assembly of multiple components, so main component can be outsourced, or the other small components can be outsourced. So we see that it's a hollow structure or a modular structure. Then they can join hands with others. Business partnering, strategic alliance is one way wherein they do not establish a separate unit, but people from different organizations join together to carry on with the business activities, but there is no establishing of a business unit. A joint venture where they do establish an entity unit, which is called as joint venture, but strategically as they do carry out with the activities but without establishing it another unit. Business partnering. Shared services center is a center where see the core activities all carried out at one location, and from there see the organizational units which are present in different locations. The main activity is I mean is carried out at one location, and from there it is transferred to multiple other locations. So they may not have everything carried on at every place. See, the main activities may be carried out at different, by assigning the work to different others. See, outsourcing is external outsourcing. Shared services is, it is also outsourcing only, but it is internal outsourcing. See, one part of their organization will carry out this activity at one location. All that is carried out at the shared services. See, the units that are present in different locations, they would not be carrying out with the main activity, because the main activity is carried out at the shared service center. So from the shared service center, the activity or whatever is the main component of the other components, whatever is done, that would be transferred to the other location. So these are the strategic choices. Either they go for external outsourcing or internal outsourcing, or join hands with others. I'll just explain business processes. Okay. We will look into what is business process from our organizing process, hormones model, etc. We can take it up in the next class. Business processes, strategic business processes such as new product design or high sensitivity customer care provides unique and durable business advantages to organizations. So looking at the business in terms of activities and processes opens up scope for challenging the ways in which things are done and coming up with improvements or sometimes more radical changes. As such, we understand the meaning of business process, the main process that is required for them to carry on with their activities, business processes. See, it starts with looking at how things are designed, and how work is carried out in the organization. So the process, the business process, it talks about the main activities such as new products designing to be taken up, looking into the matters of customer care, provide unique and durable business advantages to the organization. How do they carry on with the main activities is about business process. Okay. Looking at the business in terms of activities and process, then it opens up new ways, new challenges, all that will be taken up. There's a concept called as business process. Sometimes it is also consistently there would be improvement brought about into the business processes. They see how changes can be brought about, how improvements can be brought about, uh, making some incremental changes as things change. They keep changing that, adjusting to all the changes, and then how can they cater to the customers? How can they satisfy the customers through their business processes? So starting from the product design, the research and development, the innovation, the improvements which are to be brought about from time to time, okay, catering to the requirements of the customers, things would be taken up. Okay. At times it is not sufficient that they bring about these little changes, they carry on with their regular activity making some incremental changes, but it becomes important for them to take about radical changes. So that will be business process. It would be called as re-engineering. You must have heard about this term called as BPR, business process re-engineering. Sometimes that is also required. See, if suppose if the work is carried on in a conventional manner, maybe it involves too much of manual efforts. If the work is carried on in that particular manner, it may not be sufficient. If changes are brought about, many changes are brought about also, it may not be sufficient. And at that point of time, it is what is required is they should bring about some radical changes, like maybe they have to go for automation, they have to go for computerization, etc. So these things have to be taken up because that is the need of the hour. So in that case, such things, such radical changes are also brought about into the process. So business process, um, which deals with every aspect of the um, activities of the organization in terms of developing the product, that is research and development, then designing of the product process, etc., then catering to the requirements of the customers, providing them with the services to add value to them, and have an advantage to the business. But whenever changes have to be made, accommodating those changes, bringing about changes to the process so that they would be able to better cater to the requirements of the customers, to the extreme extent that when it is required that they have to bring about radical changes, they can also think about business process re-engineering. By way of re-engineering everything, everything would be started from scratch. um, they redo everything, they redesign everything, and then introduce that. So that is a dynamic decision that has to be taken up, because redoing everything from scratch is a very dynamic decision. Then dynamic decision in terms of adjusting themselves, the investment that is required, the see the resistance from the existing employees, etc. All those things which will involve certain decisions which are very difficult to be taken, dynamic decision, but that is required to be taken up, because that is the need of the hour and it has to be taken up. Okay, so that's about business processes. We will continue tomorrow. Um, we have other models, so we will be looking into that. Okay, I have run through the remaining part of the syllabus. If it is possible, we can finish. I am not sure whether it will be possible or not. I do not know. It may be possible for us to finish, or we can extend to another day. So as soon as we finish, we will be looking into multiple case studies and then understand how to answer the questions in the examination. Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, then let's wind up the session. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, good day.